Been about what? What's the big thing we've been learning about? Inventions. Correct. Now, we talked about this in my class as well. Primarily, most inventions were to solve problems, right? Problems that people have. People have all kinds of problems. They have real serious problems, and there's real simple problems that we have too, right? So, in light of all that we've learned about them, you guys get a chance to be inventors. Now, don't panic and freak out and go, oh man. You've already sort of been an inventor. You used the technology of bubble wrap to add it to something that already exists to make it better, right? Because we found out some inventions are where somebody takes another invention and they do something and add it to it to make it better, right? Remember we talked about pen, correct? Yeah. So, you guys, we've got a note for your parents, and we're going to talk to you about what this project is. The big idea here is this is our summative assessment, which means it's our final assessment for this unit that we've done. And this is to show us what you know and what you've learned. So, your child, or you, are to invent something original. Now, most kids, when they first started this unit, thought inventions means computers and all kinds of other things. We found out, though, it's not always a computer, is it? No. So, we would like for students to invent something that will solve one of their own problems that you face every day. So, the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to think about what are some problems that you guys face on almost every day. We've put some ideas here. Tying your shoes, getting up in the morning, doing chores, car rides. All kinds of things happen in the car. Sometimes we're eating breakfast in the car. Sometimes we got to put our stuff in a certain place in the car. So think of problems that you're facing every day. And that's where you want to start. Don't start with this idea of, ooh, I got to think of a cool invention. Because if you start there, you're going to have a really hard time coming up with an idea. Think about every day the stuff that you do and try to think of the stuff that wears you out the most. Okay? Things that happen, you're like, ugh. And usually kids do this when it's a problem. Ugh. If I ask my girls to wash the dishes. Ugh. If I have to pick up my room. Whatever that is for you, just think about what that might be. It can also be something that isn't like a chore. It could be something that happens that really bugs you. Like every time I do this happens and it drives me crazy. Okay? It could be an annoying brother or sister. It could be that something annoying that happens to you that you wish could change. Now, so where do you want to start when you're doing this project? Start with the invention or start with your problem? Problem. Okay? So start with your problem first. Because usually out of that problem is where your idea is going to come from. Okay? So, you're gonna make it a model of an invention and present your work to the class. This will be due not this week, but the next week on Wednesday, December 6th. Be careful when planning that you try and steer your child away from robots or electronic inventions. We're not asking that you have to turn all of these on or hit a button and automatically out pops something out of it. Okay? Because most of us don't have a mechanical engineering degree and can make a robot do something for us, right? But you'd be surprised at some of the best inventions or some real simple little gadget. Now we'll talk about a couple with you guys. So, try not to do robots and all that kind of stuff because it'll be way too hard. You may use an existing product, but you must change its use or function by adding something to it. Attached to this letter is a planning sheet. So we're gonna show you these things together here in just a moment. So, think problem. Let me give you a couple ideas that some students have used in the past. And I'm going to tell it to you, but we're going to ask that you don't do these particular inventions. 2 inventions on top of my head. My daughter, she was like, we're sitting at the dinner table, I'm like, all right, babe, so what do you think is the problem? What do you not like doing? And we kind of came up with a few things, and she goes, oh, I know something I don't like doing. And we're like, well, what's that? She says, I don't like it whenever Mom folds the laundry for us, and I have to go put it all the way in the bedroom. And I'm like, well, what do you not like about it? She goes, well, there's a big stack, and I have to carry it, and I'm always dropping it all over the place. And I wish I could just come up with something to where I didn't have to carry this big load. So we thought of some solutions. So guess what she came up with? We bought a laundry basket, which has already been invented, right? But this was not a normal little laundry carrier. We put wheels on the back of it. Just put a few screws in there and put a couple wheels on it. And attached a handle that she could hold up high. And she would put the clothes in there once they were folded, and she'd drag it through the house, which to her felt like a really long way to go. But she'd drag it through the house, and then she brought it right next to her drawer and could put it in there without having to carry a big old thing of it. Now think about that. Was that a super complicated invention? No. Just a simple little, almost like a little cart that she made to do it. And guess what we still have in our house? She is in 6th grade this year, and we still have that little invention around that we use. Invention number 2. I had a child in my class, and she did not like getting up in the morning and getting dressed. How many of you don't like getting dressed in the morning? Okay. So, you know what this girl said? Her name was Carson. And she said, Mr. Springsteen, I hate it when morning comes and it's dark outside and I have to turn the lights on in my room because it hurts my eyes. First of all, yeah, remember that? The lights go on, you're like, oh, my eyes. So this kiddo, she didn't like the lights turning on in the morning and burning her eyes up. She didn't like to have to get into to her closet because it was dark, right? Because if the closet's dark, you can't see your clothes to get them out. So she thought of an invention. She thought, maybe instead of turning the big lights on, I'll just turn a flashlight on. 2, to get my clothes, instead of turning the light on in the closet, I can put the flashlight on a little, she basically had a little stick. She put the flashlight at the end of it and put a little hook on the end of it to where she could unhook her clothes without turning on the big lights, and the flashlight just pointed at the clothes that she was going to pick. Now, not some big, huge, fancy, crazy thing, but it was solving the problem of her getting up in the morning, not having the lights on in her eyeballs, and a little hook so she could get the things off of the hook that she couldn't reach with her hand. Kind of simple, right? So when you're thinking of these inventions, don't think of, I need to make a robot that's going to do all this stuff for me, because that'll be really hard to do. Think more of a problem that you face and a simple solution to that, okay? If you're needing ideas, we have a sheet right here, and it says, ideas for inventions. It's got a list of them here and here. Doesn't mean you have to do these, but it can help give you some ideas. Things like, you may want to invent a new piece of playground equipment. You may want to invent a better bird bath. You could invent a new type of container to hold things. And there's a whole lot more that you can look at. But let's say you do want to make a piece of playground equipment. Well, do you have to bring in a whole giant playground in here? No. You can make a little small model of a piece of playground equipment that you could show to us as a class. Does that make sense? Yes. We don't want you to drag in your whole big playground and show the thing. Make a little small model of it to show us. All right? Next, there is a sheet on here that says, what's my intent to invent? And it talks you through what to think about and what we want you to answer for us. So the first says, give your invention a name. It says, what is the function of your invention? Well, function simply means, what is it that my invention does? Okay? Then you have reasons for inventing this invention. This is where you're going to tell us what the problem is. I am so tired of getting up in the morning and my eyes hurting, and so I invented this hanger getter, and I forget what she called it. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, that is, you tell what the problem is and why you invented that, okay? Jackson, I need you to go back where you were, bud. How will your invention help you and others lead better lives? So tell us, what is the advantage of having this invention? What's it going to do to make life better? Okay? If you've been tired of having your eyes burn out in the morning and you don't like to get your clothes out while it's late, use the Clothes Getter 3000 or whatever you call it, okay? Tell what it is that it does for you. And then you're going to make a little list here of what items did you use to make it. You're going to make a drawing, kind of like a diagram. We've been learning nonfiction text. A diagram is like a drawing, and then you point to what things are on that invention. Okay, and then last but not least, on the back here, this is how you're going to be graded for these things. So the first thing, 5 points if your invention has a name. Your invention has a purpose or a function, meaning it does something. And what is it that this invention does? That's worth 20 points, so tell us what it does. Student can tell how the invention can improve their life or solve a problem. So you're going to talk about what the problem is and what it does to make it better. You're able to tell how it works. You take this, you put it into this thing, and this happens. Or you say you grab this, put it on your foot, and then this happens. Whatever your invention is, you just get up and you show us how it works. You have a list of the materials that you used. You brought a model of your invention that you want to show to us. You've drawn a picture of your invention and labeled it, and then you present the invitation. You present the invention to the class. And in my class, afterwards we do a few questions. We do a grow and a glow. Miss Aldridge's class would do the same thing. Okay? So as far as that part goes, that's what you're going to be doing. Simply put, think of a problem that you face. Come up with a solution. Now, can it be a complicated solution? No. It could be, but then you're going to make a lot of work for yourself. Think of something that you can do to solve your problem. Okay? Something simple usually is going to be better. And sometimes the most simple stuff ends up being the best stuff. Okay? All right. We can take some questions here in just a moment. Did you want the questions on there?